On a Deer Squad episode, when it says the tickle scene, Lola says, "Don't worry, that can stop me. It's Vine time." Then Lola says, "What? Whoa!" Then Lola says, "A little help here." Then Lola says, "Look out!" Then Kai says, "Whoa, everybody, look out! Tree vines." Where Lola says, "Ha ha ha!" Then Lola says, "Guys, help!" Then Kai says, "What's so funny, Lola?" Then Lola says, "The tree vines are tickling me." Or, but Wally says, "Stan, are you alright?" And just like when Lola says, "Stop it!" Then Lola says, "That tickles." That's where the, well, no more scary characters. Where the, I wonder who lives here. That's where the, phew, luckily we got away from that witch and that wolf. Where the, I wonder who lives here. Where the, well, no more scary characters. Where the, thank goodness, no more scary characters. Where the, I wonder who lives here. Where the, well, Speedy, I think I'm kind of hot. Where the, let's take a break. Where the, wait. Who said that? That's where Speedy says, this is it, Anna. This Speedy says, we made it. Right? Says, we're not scaredy cats. This Speedy says, we're not going to get scared. Then me, Speedy says, we're brave. Where Kai says, tickling her. Then Kai says, that's it. To get Lola free, it's by Tickle Tree. Where Kai says, Stu, Sophia, cue guys, Tickle Tree. Then Stu and Sophia says, okay. Then Lola says, silly vines, don't tickle my nose. It tickles. Then Kai says, hold on tight, Lola. Then Stu says, come on, Sophia, I need you to tickle tree. Then Sophia said, I'm with you, Stu. Then Lola said, whoa. Then Lola said, ha ha ha. Then Lola said, wee. Then Lola said, Stu, Sophia, keep going, tickle tree to get me free. Then Lola said, ha ha ha. Then Lola said, wow. Then Lola said, woohoo. Next thing Wally says, uh-oh, the Tollbugs noticed us. Or when Zoe Trent says, here I go. Then Zoe said, woohoo. Or when Zoe says, magic stick, give me a word. Then Zoe said, thanks. Then Zoe Trent says, whoa, big word. Then she said, hey, Domitiro, do you know this word? Then Domitiro said, trampoline. Then Zoe said, Domitiro, you got that right. The word trampoline. And the, just like when Zoe says the word trampoline, where Zoe says, it says here in the letter T and the letter R, the T and the R both rhyme. It's like they rhyme with ch, she, and at, where Zoe says they both rhyme, where Zoe says, okay, let's make a trampoline, where Zoe says, here I go. Then Zoe said, woohoo. Then Zoe says, look, Domitira, you just need to try it, where Zoe says, try it, you'll love it. Then Domitira says, well, you're right, here goes nothing, where Domitira says, huh? Then Domitira said, hey, not bad. Then Zoe said, see, I told you it was fun. Then Domitira said, let's see, I can go higher. Woo! Then Zoe said, wait, not too high. Then Domitira said, water, I can go higher than the trees. Woo! Then Zoe said, hold on, you're going too high. Then Beatrice said, yeah. Then Domitira said, I'm gonna touch a cloud. Then Domitira said, uh-oh. Then Domitira said, then Domitira said, oh! Then Zoe said, after that flying tiara, where Domitira says, pause God, Zoe, help! Where Zoe says, she's gonna fall. Where Zoe says, quick, we need another trampoline. Where Zoe says, trampoline. Where Domitira says, whoa! Where Zoe says, okay, that's not working. She can't jump up one trampoline. Where Zoe says, we need a path or a trail. Where Zoe says, magic stick, give me a word. Then she said, thanks. Then she said, can you help me read this word? Is it path or trail? Where Zoe says, which letter starts with the letter T? Path or trail? Then Zoe said, yeah, it does. It says here in the letter T and the letter R. They both rhyme. Where Zoe says, let's make a trampoline trail. Where Domitira says, whoa, whoa. Where Domitira says, whoa, I don't like trampolines. Then Domitira says, whoa. Then Zoe said, Domitira, are you okay? Then Domitira said, trampolines are not my favorite. Or when Domitira said, hey, stop that. And the, Just like it when Diamond Tiara says, "Hey, stop that!" Then Delilah says, "That sounds like Diamond Tiara." Then Delilah says, "And I don't think she's pretty happy." Where Delilah says, "Let's go check." Where Delilah says, "Diamond Tiara, is everything okay?" Then Diamond Tiara says, "No, everything's not okay." Then Diamond Tiara says, "These noisy plants are taking over my garden, and if they don't stop, they're just bothering my ears." Where Diamond Tiara says, "Be quiet, you noisy weeds." Then she went, "Ouch, my ears." Where Delilah says, noisy plants. Where Delilah says, "Wait, I know what they're called. They're called the noisy weeds." Where Diamond Tiara says, "The noisy weeds? What's weeds?" Where Delilah says, "They're the most noisiest plants in the world, and they don't stop." Where Diamond Tiara says, "Tell me about it." Where Diamond Tiara says, "But how are we gonna make them go away?" Where Zoe says, "Don't worry, Diamond Tiara. We'll get rid of those weeds." Where Zoe says, "Magic stick, give me a word." Then Zoe says, "Thanks." Where Zoe says, "Wait, does gone start the letter G?" Where Zoe says, "Good on, good on." Then Zoe says, "What word is that?" Then Zoe says, "Yeah, it does. It says here in letter G, and it has the ah sound." Where Zoe says, "Okay, Diamond Tiara, I'll make those weeds gone." Where Diamond Tiara says, "It worked. They're gone." The Diamond Tiara says, "And they're back." Where Delilah says, "Well, you're right. Getting rid of those weeds are being kind of hard." Or, well, Wally says, "Funny face, right?" Then Wally says, "Stan, get ready to laugh." Then Stan says, "Not funny." Then Wally says, "Normal, you make a funny face." Then Stan says, "Still not funny." Where Wally says, "Ooh, I know. A leaf on my head. I have a leaf on my head. I am Wally Leafhead. Leaf on my head." Where Wally says, "That's funny, right?" This Stan said, "Wrong." Then Wally said, "This is harder than I thought."